From rotating dials to emoji chats, yes, there has been an evolution in communication. The world has transformed into the lightning fast world of emoji laden chats. Today, people no longer spend long hours in deep conversation, but today's telephonic conversation is going to be a little different. Let's see how. Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to deal with a telephone conversation. It's a poem by Wole Soyinka. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. In this video, we are going to discuss the background context of the poem, the central message, the line-by-line explanation of the poem, and I'm also going to do a thematic discussion in this poem. You will also find a video which is going to go live on my channel on African American background that will help you to get a better understanding of what this poem is about and what exactly is happening in this telephonic conversation. So I request you to also go and have a look at that video. I'll provide it in the I button above. Wole Soyinka is a Nigerian playwright, poet and essayist who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in the year 1986, becoming the first African laureate. That is one of the reasons why we have this poem in our syllabus. Born in 1934 in Nigeria, his works often explore the themes of identity, race, culture and colonialism. He is famous for his powerful writing, which often includes elements of African culture and mythology while also addressing the contemporary social and political issues. Telephone Conversation is one of Wole Soyinka's most famous poems, first published in 1962. The poem reflects the pervasive racism and prejudice which was faced by the black people in the mid-20th century, particularly in the context of interracial communication. Set against the backdrop of the Britain era, the poem presents a conversation between a black man and a white landlady as he attempts to secure an accommodation. Through the lens of this telephone conversation, the poet exposes the absurdity, the strangeness and ignorance that lies when one is trying to racially discriminate. Now, as is always the context, I will also tell you the central message of the poem so that from the beginning you have clarity about what the poem is going to be all about, and then when we enter into the line-by-line explanation, it is going to be crystal clear to you. So the central message of this poem revolves around the themes of racial prejudice, that is, when people in those times used to discriminate when they saw that someone is black and the other is white. The black people, or the black-skinned people rather, because of their skin color, were not accepted in the mainstream society. They lived on the outskirts, on the margins, literally and also metaphorically. A lot of chances and opportunities were not given to them. It was denied. Why? Just because of the skin color of these people. Do you think it is right? Let me know in the comment section down below. So coming back to the central message of the poem, we see that in this poem, it highlights the dehumanizing effects of racial profiling and absurdity of judging individuals only on the basis of their skin color. So the poem serves as a powerful commentary. It challenges the readers to think about the assumptions, the prejudices, the preconceived notions that are there in their mind. And in today's scenario, I would say, how has a shift taken place? We do no longer discriminate perhaps on the basis of skin color, but now money has become important. Don't you think so? So now let's decode the line-by-line meaning of the poem. Initially, we see that the speaker describes his initial encounter with the landlady, noting that the price and location of the accommodation seemed more or less reasonable. He emphasizes the importance of honesty in interaction, stating nothing remained but self-confession. Let's see how. The price seemed reasonable, location indifferent. The landlady swore she lived off premises. That is, the speaker starts by mentioning that the price and location of the accommodation seemed fair and acceptable. He notes that the landlady seemed quite indifferent to the location and she assured him that she lived off the premises, that is, she did not live anywhere close to the location of the accommodation. Nothing remained but self-confession. The landlady asserts that she does not stay at the place which is now being rented out. The speaker then states that nothing else was left to discuss except revealing his identity to the landlady now. And what is this honest self-confession? He says, "Madam, I warned, I hate a wasted journey. I am African." That is, the speaker prepares to confess something about himself. He addresses the landlady as madam and gives her a warning about what he is going to reveal about his identity. That is, he says that he does not like making futile trips and he directly wants to reveal it in the telephone conversation itself that he is African. After the speaker's confession, there is silence, indicating the landlady's shock or discomfort at hearing his ethnicity. See what happens now. Silence. Silenced transmission of pressurized good breeding. Voice when it came, lipstick coated. Long gold rolled cigarette holder piped. That is, after the speaker makes his confession, there is pin drop silence. It is as if that landlady is just in utter shock on hearing that the person she is talking to and is wanting to rent out her property to is an African American. The silence is described as pressurized good breeding, suggesting a stifled reaction due to the norms of the society. That is, the landlady was white-skinned and if she would have rented out her property to an African, she was sure to face repercussions and there would be consequences because the society would, point fingers to her. So then the landlady's voice finally breaks the silence. The speaker describes the appearance of the landlady's voice, describing her as lipstick coated lips and a long gold rolled cigarette holder. All these are mentioned to suggest that she was a very sophisticated and a rich landlady. The speaker feels caught or trapped by the landlady's question, which comes after her sophisticated appearance is described. Caught I was foully. Now what is it? Let's see further. There was silence. Now at all when the landlady opens her mouth, think so much had been going on in her mind, and what is the first thing she asks? How dark? I had not misheard. Are you light or very dark? Button B, button A, stench of rancid breath of public hide and seek. So here the landlady's question is very blunt and direct. She is not tolerating any kind of nonsense. She asks about the darkness or lightness of the speaker's skin color. The repetition emphasizes how important this question is to her. Her inquiry is similar to pressing the buttons of the telephone, suggesting that it is a routine conversation for her, perhaps indicating her racism or prejudice. Maybe as a landlady, she had had many conversations in the past related to this, so it seems like a regular question for her. The speaker then describes a foul smell, metaphorically representing the unpleasantness of prejudice in society. That is, these people were considered dirty and muddy and unhygienic because of their skin color. See, literally also the appearance was like that. So there is a kind of disgust which the white people develop towards the African people, but you need to also understand that it was not the fault of the African people, because these people were not accepted in the mainstream society. At that time, they would have to do any kind of task and work so that they could earn a living. That included cleaning washrooms, cleaning the dirt on the streets, and any foul task that you can imagine. Now I'm calling it foul, but we all say that all types of work is to be respected. If it brings food on your table, you cannot say any work to be sophisticated or bad. But the mindset of the people at that time was that because they do indulge in this kind of dirty tasks, they are not to be considered or accepted in the mainstream society. Red booth, red pillar box, red double tired. So the setting is described over here with the imagery of red colored items, perhaps symbolizing danger or warning, simply emphasizing the intensity of this particular moment. Omnibus squelching tar, that is, the speaker emphasizes the reality of the situation and he feels ashamed by the awkwardness and prejudice that is there in their interaction. It was real shamed by ill-mannered silence, surrender, pushed, dumbfounded to beg simplification. So the speaker surrenders to the need to simplify his response due to the landlady's rude silence, implying that he will have to give in to her expectations rather than trying to continue to assert his dignity, his sense of respect. He is astonished and speechless by the situation. He is forced to beg for a simpler way to communicate because of the landlady's lack of understanding or acceptance of the speaker. Considerate she was, wearing the emphasis, "Are you dark or very right?" Revelation came. Despite her rudeness, the landlady attempts to be considerate by changing the emphasis of the question so that she can try to be more polite or accommodating. The landlady repeats her question, asking if the speaker's skin color is dark or very light. This repetition again highlights how understanding the identity of a person based on skin color was fixed in her mind. The speaker then has a revelation or a realization. "You mean like plain or milk chocolate?" Her accent was clinical, crushing in its light, impersonality, rapidly wavelength adjusted. The speaker seeks clarification by comparing the skin color to different shades of chocolate, attempting to make the concept more relatable and understandable to the landlady. Even if you see the skin or the Fair and Lovely or all the other kinds of advertisements where they are promoting that they promise rather that your skin color will change or will become a tone lighter or darker, whatever it is, they use chocolate and other such indicators to compare how your skin color can improve from what it is. So the landlady's response is clinical. She is crushing the speaker's attempt to humanize the conversation. She is still indifferent. The speaker quickly adjusts his wavelength or perspective so that he can match the expectations of the landlady. "I choose West African sepia, and as afterthought, down in my passport, silence for spectroscopic flight of fancy till truthfulness changed her accent." That is, the speaker selects a descriptor for his skin color, choosing West African sepia. I don't know if you can go to your camera settings, you will see the different colors, the different templates that come, which you can change. You can make it monochromatic, black and white, chrome. So one such adjustment of filter is sepia. So he says that I am West African sepia. The speaker mentions his passport as evidence of his identity, but the landlady remains silent. Perhaps she is thinking about what could be the response of the speaker further. Eventually, her truthfulness or lack of understanding becomes visible. The landlady reacts strongly to the speaker's explanation, asking for clarification in a forceful manner. Her question suggests that she is confused. Heard on mouthpiece, "What's that?" Conceding, "Don't know what that is. Like brunette? That's dark, isn't it?" "Not altogether." So the landlady admits that she has not been able to understand what exactly is the skin color being described by the speaker. So she questions that is it the sort of brunette color, which is a dark brown hair color? The landlady assumes that being a brunette is equal to having a dark skin, but the speaker corrects her, indicating that his identity is much more complex than just a simple classification based on appearance. Facially, I'm brunette, but madam, you should see the rest of me. Palm of my hand, soles of my feet are a peroxide blonde. Friction caused foolishly, madam, by sitting down has turned my bottom raven black. One moment, madam. So the speaker acknowledges that he appears brunette in terms of the facial features, but suggests that his identity includes more than just his appearance. He invites the landlady to consider the other aspects of his identity. That is, he humorously points out the different contrasts that are there in his skin color, that is his facial features and other parts of his body, such as the palms of his hands and the soles of his feet, which are lighter in color. The speaker also compares the darkening of the bottom to friction caused by sitting down for long hours, which further emphasizes the absurdity of the conversation. He interrupts himself, sensing the landlady's reaction. Madam, I pleaded, wouldn't you rather see for yourself? That is, the speaker pleads or requests the landlady to see him in person, suggesting that she should judge him based on direct observation rather than preconceived notions or stereotypes that were there in her mind. Now, to understand this poem in totality, let us decode or break down the four major themes of the poem, that is racial prejudice, identity, communication and absurdity. Let's see them in details. So the poem portrays the reality of racial prejudice, showing how the speaker is immediately subjected to discrimination based solely on his ethnicity, that is his racial identity and skin color. The landlady's blunt and offensive questions about the darkness of the speaker's skin color reflect that sense of racism which is fixated and ingrained in the society and also in the mind of the landlady. So this theme is central to the poem's exploration of power dynamics, inequality and the dehumanizing effects of having or holding on to prejudices. The poet also deals with the complexities of racial and cultural identity, challenging the simple categorizations which are imposed by the society. They are never simple. The speaker's attempt to assert his African identity is met with doubt and ignorance from the landlady, highlighting the struggle for recognition and acceptance which is faced even today, I'm telling you, by these marginalized communities. So the poem highlights the importance of being true to your identity and resisting efforts to reduce individuals to stereotypes based on just their outward appearances. We should not do this of having preconceived notions, prejudices about just because a person looks good means he will be good at heart, or a person does not look good so he will not be good at heart. All these are all random rubbish preconceived notions which need to be thrown out of our minds. The telephone conversation serves as an example for the challenges of communication in a racially divided society. Miscommunication, misunderstandings, and distorting or changing the meaning due to racial bias are evident throughout that interaction that takes place between the speaker and the landlady. So the poet emphasizes that how language can also be used as a tool of oppression, as a tool of torture. With the landlady's questions, we can see that she does not have genuine curiosity, but she has rather got a desire to reinforce those racial hierarchies which are ingrained in her mind. Through the humor and irony towards the end of the poem, we see the poet exposes that how this stereotyping categorization is absurd, it is strange. The speaker's witty responses and exaggerated descriptions highlight the absurdity of the landlady's fixation on skin color. By portraying the racial profiling and dehumanizing effects of prejudice, the poem challenges the readers to confront these biases which we too may have, and we need to overcome it. So in total, we see that this poem serves as a reminder of the need for having empathy, understanding and social justice in a world marked by racial inequality and injustice. There is an essay which is live on my channel. The video is called Tolerance. It's an essay, you can also read it. You will get a better understanding of what is this empathy and understanding that I'm talking about. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.